Perplexity scraps its $200 AI browser fee. Sam Altman warns AI could take 40% of jobs by 2030. Meta's mega data center sparks fears of a David versus Goliath fight. Canada's border agency faces major outages causing travel chaos, and big tech spends billions chasing superintelligence despite the warnings. Welcome to #Trending. I'm your host, Jim Love. Let's get into it. There's a big move out of Perplexity this week. It's turning its $200 a month AI-powered browser, Comet, into a free product for everyone. They said it was all about fighting the flood of low-quality content, the AI slop clogging the internet. But is this really a noble crusade or just a recognition that competing against a free, AI-infused Chrome isn't really viable? Comet launched as a premium service, letting users summarize pages, filter links, and cut through online noise. But Chrome already had over 3 billion users worldwide, and Google is now baking AI directly into its browser. That's a tough hill to climb if your biggest selling point is advanced AI browser at a premium price. CEO Aravind Srinivas insists that the move is about creating a better internet that's accessible to everyone. Still, Comet will have rate limits on its free tier, a sign that sustainability remains an open question. There also is proposed what could be a very cheap subscription to a number of publications, and while Perplexity is trying to position Comet as more of an assistant than a browser, this shift looks as much about survival as it does about principle. OpenAI's CEO Sam Altman is making one of his starkest predictions yet. In a story on the tech pages of the online publication named Rude Baguette, one of my favorite names, Altman is quoted as saying artificial intelligence, AI systems smarter than humans in almost every task, could arrive as soon as 2030. And when it does, he warned, be prepared for about 40% of today's jobs that will never be the same. It seems that Altman wasn't talking about temporary automation or workers shifting to new roles like in past industrial revolutions. He seemed to be suggesting that nearly half of all the tasks people do today could be permanently automated, with no human fallback. That point has been echoed elsewhere. Business Insider, citing an interview Altman gave to the German outlet Welt, also quoted him as saying AI tools could eventually take over 30 to 40% of human tasks. The bigger question now is how governments, businesses, and workers will respond. Reskilling programs, income support, and even rethinking what work means may not be optional in a world where machines can handle almost everything. In Georgia, a woman living near a metadata center said her water has turned discolored, her appliances are breaking down and have been replaced 3 times, and her family fears what's coming out of the tap. She's not alone. Neighbors have reported dwindling and polluted water since the facility opened. Meta denies any responsibility and has produced reports that prove that it's not responsible. Now the company is building an even bigger AI data center in rural Louisiana. 4 million square feet, that's the equivalent of 70 football fields, and a promise of about 500 jobs. But there are critics who are urging to take this with a grain of salt. Thanks to automation, data centers rarely bring as many jobs as communities expect, and the massive power upgrades they demand often increase electrical bills for families and individuals, as the cost of expanding power generation is passed on to all ratepayers. So, to mitigate this, Meta has pledged to cover part of the expansion costs and promises the Louisiana site will be water positive by 2030. Still, families can't help but worry they'll be thrown into the same David versus Goliath situation, believing they're being harmed, but facing a monolithic company armed with experts that argue otherwise. The tension highlights the bigger question. As AI infrastructure expands, will communities see real benefits or just bear the hidden costs? Earlier this week, the headlines were reading that U.S. commercial traffic was being blocked at the Canadian border. Given the recent tensions, you might be going, what's happening? Well, it turns out it's not a trade dispute this time. The Canadian Border Service Agency had multiple outages in their computer systems, hitting both airports and land crossings. At airports, the primary inspection kiosks went down at Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, and Calgary, forcing agents to revert to manual processing. Travelers were warned to expect longer than normal wait times, and in some places, the delays stretched on for hours. But the big delay was on the ground, absolutely abysmal. At key commercial crossings like the Peace Bridge, Blue Water Bridge, Ambassador Bridge, and Lewiston-Queenston, trucks faced backups of more than 7 hours. Queuing areas in western New York reached capacity, and drivers were told to avoid certain bridges until further notice. The good news? The Canadian Border Services says the outages have been resolved, and this wasn't a cyber attack. It was a technical failure during routine systems maintenance. I'm sure the truck drivers feel better knowing that. Still, lane closures from unrelated bridge repairs made the backups worse, and officials warn congestion may linger while operations stabilize. For travelers and commercial drivers, it's a reminder that even routine IT problems can have an outsized impact when they happen at critical choke points. Big tech isn't slowing down in the race to build superintelligence, even as safety alarms get louder. Microsoft, Alphabet, Amazon, all of them are pouring billions into trying to create what's called artificial general intelligence, systems that can outperform humans in almost everything. And the problem? Experts warn that the rush to dominate the market is leaving safety behind. Publicly, executives talk about responsible AI, but their investments tell another story, a race that values speed and market share over caution. That tension is captured in the new book with the unsettling title, If Anyone Builds It, Everyone Dies. It reflects a growing concern that once companies get close to building AGI, the pressure to deploy fast and reap the rewards will outweigh careful oversight. So we end where we began. AI is advancing at breakneck speed. The question isn't just whether it can be built, but whether we'll have the wisdom and the discipline to slow down when slowing down might matter most. And that's our show. If you like what we're doing, please share it. Give us a like or comment on your favorite podcast app, or find us on YouTube. This weekend, our Project Synapse panel will be taking a deeper dive into some of these AI stories and the issues they raise, so stay tuned for that. We love to hear from you. Reach me at technewsday.ca or technewsday.com. Just go to the Contact Us tab. I'm your host, Jim Love. Have a fantastic Friday.